Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque painting live on Thursday, August 4th at 7 p.m. Central Time. So I have our Christmas in July ornaments lying here, and we'll see if we can get us going on the tablet here too. Let's see here, it's going to take a minute. So it's already August. Who can believe that it's already August 4th? How time is a-flying on us. I noticed that it already gets darker at night earlier. We're getting, see if we can get this to come up on the tablet. Come on. Oh, and we even got comments going, so it looks like we are good to go. We got a whining cat here today. So we do have our ornaments, and I have black paint on my hands because I did paint that honeybee earlier this afternoon when I got the boxes packed, and then we only had one customer on Thursday here, so I did get the honeybee painted because about 10 of you guys got that for your box. So that's how I painted it. You can paint it any way you like. I think the Clay Magic flyer has it done more with browns. I kind of like the black and the charcoal myself, but you do whatever you like. You got to do it the way you like it. So we'll give everyone a little bit of time to get on here. So again, it's August 4th. Summer is flying by. It's been hot and humid here again. Let's see, I'm packing your boxes. I took a load this morning, and then I packed boxes this morning and early forenoon, and I dropped a load off on the way home from the classroom today because we did have classroom hours. So about 60 of them are on their way. A handful will go out tomorrow, and then if you had big pieces or a big order, they're going out on Monday. Hopefully they'll all be able to go out Monday. I'll have to see. I have to check with a couple of you that we're getting. One of you is getting the lighthouse, and I have to see if you wanted it with the windows cut out or if you want it without the windows cut out. So I have to just check on a couple things with people. So if you had a bigger order, it's going out on Monday, or big pieces in your order, they'll go out on Monday. Gail, I'm going to check with you on your big pieces, see where we're at with those. Let's see what else is going on. We have 2 pallets of dry clay coming, and then your molds from Starlight, which will be for our October box, our probably November and December box too, I think. I did place an order with Creative Paradise through Marcella's, and we are going to have 3 months of Creative Paradise molds next year. So that's pretty exciting, a different company. So they do not have new releases anymore, but they do have the masters for the Kimple molds and then the Creative Paradise molds, and they actually even have a couple Mike's molds, I guess, because I was able to order the tall 18-inch grizzly bear mold that I've been kind of hunting for. So I'm excited about that. And then I ordered a few other ones too. So we'll have some cool molds next year with 3 months of Creative Paradise. So that's kind of a lot going on with shipping the boxes, and I'll have to move some molds and get the old pallets out of the storage unit for our mold delivery. They probably picked them up today, and they'll actually ship out tomorrow, so I'll probably hear from them Monday morning and get delivered on Wednesday, I'm guessing. So I'm not sure what the weather is for the rest of the week here, but it has been hot and humid here. I think that's about it. I do have the bee to show you guys, but this is our Christmas in July box. It's our ornaments that we will hopefully be able to finish up tonight. So we'll put them aside. And then I can show you that honeybee that you guys were able to purchase as add-on bisque. So it's a pretty big piece. I think it's 11 or 12. I think it's actually 12 inches across. That's why I didn't put it in the box. It was too big for the box. So this is the honeybee, so you can see the difference from compared to the ornament. So he's really cute. So I had a request for the eyes, so I'm going to just try to show the eyes closer. It's really hard to see them with the dragonfly glaze on the eyes. I put that on the eyes and on the wings. and it's sparkly, but it's not glittery. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like when you see those metallic color changing cars going down the highway that you meet. So you can kind of see it has, when I tip it, it has blue and purple and blue, purple, and probably turquoise in it. So I really like it. It's not glittery. It's probably really fine glitter in there. I don't know, but it's pretty cool stuff. So he was just base coated the whole thing black. Then I dry brushed the stripes and this up here with gold, and then highlighted it with yellow. Touched up all the black. Painted the little sunflower on it and just started at the top. Did like a plus sign and then filled it in. And then I did dots of the walnut and dots of saddle brown. Did the wings with charcoal and then gray. The body and the legs I did dry brush just very slightly with the charcoal, but then I came back with the black over the top of it, so that it's actually a shade lighter than the stripes. It's probably kind of hard to see that, but you can kind of see it on the legs here. It's just one shade lighter than the stripes, and I did that just by going with the charcoal and then the black back over it. It just like lightened it up. Kind of like what we do with the lime burst when we put the yellow over it and then put the lime burst back over the top. It turns it back to the green. But he's really cool with his coloring. I really like him. I like it better than the saddle brown that we did on the bumblebee. And the bumblebee's at the classroom, so I can't show you that. But I kind of like the black a lot better. So we will have more bisque of this if anyone wants it for your September add-on. But that's the bunny. The honeybee, and you can see how big it is compared to the ornaments. Just thought you guys would get a kick out of me painting that up quick. So that's that. Then we have our box that we are shipping right now, which is our Hive Sweet Hive. I do have the glitter on there, and that will be coming in your box as well. And then with the hive, you also get the small bee, and you get a small sunflower, so you can attach that on there if you want. You could glue it on, or you could use that tacky stuff, or you can just sit it beside it kind of for decoration. So kind of whatever you guys want to do with it. But that is your box for August that we are shipping right now. And I will let the molds dry out for about a week, and then I will pour more of the bee skips if anyone wants those. I'll post that in the September album next week. So you'll be able to add all of that onto your, if you guys want extras. So that is your bee skip and your Hive Sweet Hive bee and sunflower that we're shipping now. I do have about 10 invoices out there that need to be paid yet. So if you haven't paid or messaged me, it'll be great if you could do that. If you're paying late, that's fine, as long as you let me know, and a few of you did, so that's great, but we still have a few out there that need to pay. So I'm going to just bring our painted ones back so I can see what we got to decorate up here. Our table only has so much room. Let's see what else is going on. Hopefully we can get these guys finished tonight, so let's get our... kind of match them up, I guess, like we have them up here, because we're getting kind of down to the detail part here. We'll put the painted ones up on top. See, we got the sleeping moose here, the bear with the hands up, the moose with it on the right, the bear with it on the right, moose on the left, and then the bear on the right. So we'll just kind of get those to that point. Oh, and I was going to show you one more thing. So this is the dragonfly glaze, that I was talking about, that I used on the bumblebee wings. So if anyone's looking for that. So there is different colors of this. There's like 5 different colors at Hobby Lobby. This is the violet, blue, green shift. And there was like a green, red, gold shift. There's 5 different ones to pick from, but of course I like blue. So you can see it kind of looks like purple here, and then blue through the middle, and then the green over there. But it's just called Dragonfly Glaze, and it's by Full Cart. I'm sure you can probably get it off of Amazon too. It's $4.19 for 2 ounces, but it's just clear. There's the cover. You can kind of see the cover. So it's sparkly, like sparkly metallic-y, but not sparkly like glitter. I don't know, it's really hard to explain. So it is white, but it does dry clear. And then I usually put 2 coats on. Just brush it out nice. So that is the dragonfly glaze that I talked about on those wings and eyeballs. You could probably use them on fairies. There's probably a ton of stuff you could use this on. I actually really like it because it's not so glittery. Okay, so let's get back to our ornaments. Let's get some comments back up here. So it looks like we got all you guys on. So where were we at? I think we got everything done with our, oh, this guy here needs our light brown yet the way it looks. So we'll go with our, he probably has the light medium brown. So I think he needs the light brown and then the cargo pants. So we will get our light brown. Actually, it looks like he's got the light brown. I think we got to go with the cargo pants. I should actually like underline where we're at. So we have cargo pants, OS 441 cargo pants. We're going to give it a good shake. Looks like the cat finally settled down and went up into his little his little, he's got one of those trees, the window trees that he can go climbing in. So I just have my boar bristle brush. This is a size 1 because we have such a little area. And so I'm just going to brush back and forth real lightly on my antlers just to set them out a little bit more from our, from the moose itself. Let's see, the Waukesha Ceramic Show is next Friday, so only a week. It actually starts on Thursday. They have classes going on Thursday, and then classes and the vendors on Friday and Saturday. So we'll be going to that next week. So if anybody sees me there, you can holler me down. I will be taking Paula McCoy's class Friday afternoon. I think it's 12:30 to 3. It's her butterflies and flowers on a platter, a square platter. So I will be doing that in the afternoon. But we have a few molds to pick up for your boxes. The holly tree for our November box. I'm getting the large, it's like a 12-inch African violet pot mold. And I don't know if that's something you guys would want in the album or not. You can let me know. It's kind of hard to come across that. We haven't come across that big of a violet pot, but I've had requests for it, so I did order an 8-inch violet pot and then a 12-inch one. So I could pour those and put those in the album too if any of you guys are doing glaze stuff. I don't know how many people get to glaze with kilns. So I can add that to the album too. Once the molds are dry, I'm not sure how wet they'll be. I did order them back in June, so I don't know if they made them right away or not. So we're just dry brushing our cargo pants on our little horns here and making them nice and light. And then let's see, where else did we put it? Just the antlers, so that's good. Alrighty, so I'm going to just brush my brush out a little bit. And then I did get some cargo pants on my moose, so I'm going to go back with my medium brown and just touch that up a little bit. So don't be afraid to go back and touch your pieces up. Nothing wrong with that, especially if you get paint all over like I did here. I'm just going to touch it up a little bit to darken it up. So it doesn't look like his horns are shedding on his forehead. Okay. And then it's okay that we have it on the scarf and the antlers because we will work on that when we get to that part. So let's see, any questions going on? Jackie says she'd love a pot. Okay, well I'll probably get that poured too then once it gets dried and put it in the album. Probably be like the October album, I'm guessing. So this guy's got some rust on his cheek, so I'm just going to touch that up with a little bit of our medium brown there. Okay, so our next one is now, we're going to start with our red scarves with the green triangles. So that will be this middle guy. So there's triangles on it. And we did our rust on there. So I must have just missed that antlers on that one. Is all. So we got our rust on there. And so these are all our red ones. So I'm trying to figure out what we did here. So it looks like all our red ones we put our rust on. So now we can go and put our real red on. So we'll go to real red. which is OS483. So I kind of like to work in batches, do all the reds, kind of working on all the reds. So we have our real red OS483. So we'll get that. And my little hole is plugged. Let's see here, where's my fall stylus? So these guys tend to sit here. I don't get to paint at home, so they end up sitting all week or 2 weeks sometimes. So now I just grabbed another smaller brush because it's kind of a smaller area. This one is a round one, a size 3. And I'm just going to go into my red, work it into my brush. And now we can come to our, wherever our red is here, and we're going to dry brush our red over our rust. So we did use the rust under the red. It just helps the red cover better. And you can use different colors. Some people use gray, some use brown. I tend to go more towards the rust or the burnt orange or the terracotta. So like it's not a big deal if you don't have rust and you have like terracotta or burnt orange or gray. Just use one of those colors. It just helps cut how much, or how it just helps how well the red will cover. It just covers better if you kind of have like a shade in between the black and the red, instead of going from black right to red. It just helps that red cover a lot better. And then I'm using a small brush because I have a small area, so I wouldn't want to use a great big brush so that I got red all over my animals and my wood slice. So you kind of want to use the right size brush for the right size area. And I did see yesterday on the vendors list that Silver Falcon brushes are going to be at the Waukesha show. So if they're there, you might see me jumping up and down, because I really love those brushes. And if we can find a dealer with those again, that would be great. So now I got my red kind of on my ornament here. So I'm just kind of using a little bit of spit to get it off, because the ornament where we dry brushed before is dry, so a lot of times you can just wipe it off. So it'll be interesting to see if there is a Silver Falcon dealer at the show or not. So I'm excited to see that, because those actually are my favorite brushes. So I'm just trying to get into these little areas without getting my red all over. So now I do have a really tiny area underneath this chin, so that's where I kind of like my flat brushes better. So even though your flat brush is wide, you can turn it on its edge and get into those little areas without getting their paint all over. So I'm going to turn it on its edge or its side, and now I can get into that little bitty area between his leg and his chin without getting red all over too much. So that just works really good. We did a little bit of changing around at the classroom for you local ladies. You'll see that and I'll post pictures when we're all done so everybody can see it in the classroom group. But we're adding, we added a whole bisque room with 9 shelves in it. 9 more shelves, and then we redid the gift shop area. Added 5 shelves out there, so we'll be having more bisque out there too. So a total of 14 new shelves of bisque. So now I got to get to pouring our fall stuff. So I did pour some pumpkins. So you guys will probably see some pumpkins in the September album. I do have some more Kinsey rocks and vases and things to put in the September album, so I'll try to get to that towards the end of next week. But it's kind of going to be a busy week with those, with the clay coming, because I got to make room for that, and plus we have our open hours on Tuesday and Thursday, and then the show on Friday, so it'll kind of be a busy week again, and then finishing boxing on Monday. So Denise says she never used Falcon brushes. I love their brushes. They're just top quality. They just the liners for doing eyes and stuff, they're just wonderful. Those Royal Majestic pro grade nylon painting brushes that we had, they compare probably to the Silver Falcon brushes. They're not cheap brushes, but they definitely lasted. The ones I had like I still have them, and they're probably 20 years old too. But like everything seems to have gone down in quality, so I don't know, like I haven't bought them in years. They've been hard to get. They're from Germany. They're actually I think the brother to Zem brushes or something. But I have gotten Zem brushes for the classroom, ZEM, but I still like the Silver Falcon ones better. So if we get them, if they're there, I'll probably be getting some. In fact, I held back on pre-ordering some things so that if they are there, I can bring some. So that will be fun, especially the liners for doing eyes. So let's see, what does... Patty says they would make her happy. Yeah, see, Patty knows. So we'll have to see, you guys, what we can get them. If we can get them, I will bring some, and then we'll have a name of a dealer again. The number we had, the gentleman don't answer the phone, and he was an older gentleman at the time, so I don't know if something happened or... but hopefully there's actually is a new dealer there. That will be quite exciting. They do have Paula McCoy there giving classes, and then Michael Harbridge is giving classes, and then Bob Marini, who I guess is from Mako, is giving classes too. And then I think there's a couple make and take people there giving classes, like Fashion Hues I think is one of them, and GR Pottery Forms or something. I don't know anything about them. I guess they're on the Clay Share page that's on Facebook, so it should be a really nice show. I'm kind of excited to go. So I only have molds pre-ordered. I didn't pre-order paint or anything, just so I could get Silver Falcon brushes if they're there. So we can always order paint by mail and get those. Okay, so we got our red on, and I'll actually come back and do another layer of red because we don't want to see any rust. New ones probably won't last as long. Yep, you're telling the truth there, because everything is more throwaway these days. They don't make it to last like it used to. They had a line called Black Onyx. They had a black and silver handle. Those are the ones that I really like. They're probably like $8 to $9 a brush though, but once you use them, and you just like love them. So we'll see. You never know. Let's see what else is going on. Like I said, it's hot here. Oh, I have a trailer now for hauling the molds from the storage unit and the clay, so I can clean out my Equinox and kind of claim that back. Because as my nephew says, it looks like a dump truck in the back and not like a car. So it'll be nice to get that cleaned up. Because the clay, you know, it's dry, and the other ingredients are dry, so you end up with just all that dust, and it just makes for a mess. So it'll be nice to haul stuff in the trailer. Okay, so we have our red on. We can really not see through it. So when I look at it, I want to see that I can't see through my red and see the rust. I still want to see the black down in all the little crevices, so we can see that. So from there, we are going to do our accent green and then bright green. So let's see, I gotta look here. Get these guys maybe lined up with the reds now. So sometimes you gotta switch things around so you can see what you're doing. So we'll get all the reds, and we'll put the other ones aside. So now for these guys with our reds, so you can either go and finish the reds, or we can go and do the greens, which I think I'll go and do the greens now. Sorry guys. Kind of do those as a batch, and then we can come back and touch up. We can add all our little details with our other colors. So we will go to our accent green. Did I use? What green did I use? Accent green first. Where are you, accent green? So we have accent green SS57. So we'll give that a shake. They did blacktop my road on Tuesday. I got home from the classroom and I had blacktop, the second layer blacktop, so that was really nice. That's really a little one. So it seems like you can have 100 brushes in this tray and not have the one that you want. I think like a size 3 and the size 5 are probably my most popular pieces. So we'll start with this. I have a 0 because I already got my one with paint on it. So I'm just going to go into the accent green. And again, I can turn this on its edge to go under his little chin here so we don't get our green all over. So we'll get that touched up. Or not touched up, but dry brushed. I did get the glass for the mosaic kits, and I do have those cut into. You'll be getting actually 1 square foot of glass. Whoever does that kit that I posted about, you'll have three color choices to pick from. There'll be a light green and a dark green. It's called streaky, so there's like marbling of colors. Then there will be a dark brown and a light brown with the marbling of colors. And then there is a blue with pink and I would say like a lime green in it, and then a blue that matches that. So you'll be able to pick from one of those 3 color combinations for your color, and you'll get a half a square foot of each, and they'll be cut into 4 pieces, so you'll get a total of 1 square foot of glass for your mushroom. And that sample's coming too. I had the one done with the yellow glass, but I thought I would do one with the we'll have one with the glass that's actually the colors that you guys are going to be able to pick from. So I'll post a picture and you guys can pick, you'll be able to post on there which color combination you want, so you don't have to be stuck with, say you just hated brown and I did brown. So you'll have one of 3 colors to pick from. Try to get to that next week too. The glass is already cut, so start to get that wrapped, and I still have to check with Courtney to see if I have to invoice you guys or if you have to pay through Facebook. I'm not sure, so I'll have to check with Courtney on that, but I have been working on that. Got some more of the supplies that we need for that, so you guys can have everything that you'll need in that box. There was something that I was thinking you're going to need besides the tile and clay sealer. There was one other little thing. No, I don't remember what it is right offhand, but it's something you'd probably have at your house anyway. So I'll work on a list, because I'm gonna do it a lot like the box. You'll have a content sheet just like you do with the box. You'll have the instructions sheet with a color picture, and then you'll have all the pieces that you'll need, all the parts, like the tool to cut it, and the safety glasses, the tape, the silicone glue, what else? Just everything. Oh, the grout, everything that you need to do your piece except for that sealer. And then there was one other thing, and I can't think of it right offhand, but it was something that you'd have most likely anyway. But I will post a picture of all that so that you know exactly what you're getting in your kit. And then you'll be able to do your color choice. And then once I find out from Courtney whether I have to do it through Facebook, or if you can just, like, you guys put you want a kit on there and I can just send you an invoice. So I'll figure that part out next week too. But that's because I'd like to get that shipped by the 15th of August, so that you guys have it in plenty of time to do our class on September 18th at 3 p.m. So it's a Sunday afternoon, and then it will be, it's a private group event, so it'll be saved, and whoever pays for the event, whether you get the kit or just the class, you'll have access to it. It'll like always be on Facebook then, because we're only at 800 and some members for YouTube. So it's good if you guys can go on YouTube and like and share, because once we get to 1,000 members on there, then we can host private events like that on there, but for right now we have to do it on Facebook. We could do Zoom, but I don't know anything about that, and I don't think Courtney does, so we're going to start just with the private event on Facebook. That'll work fine. And then I'll have tips and tricks and all kinds of good information, so it'll be worth your value. I know it's expensive, but I have seen other mosaic pieces where they've, like a 12 by 12 piece can be like $475 for the class. So even though it is expensive, I know at $175, like, I didn't mark up the glass or the grout or anything like that. What I'm charging you is what it's going to cost me to get it. There are cheaper ways to do things, like the grout. You can go to like your local hardware store and like buy a 10-pound bag of grout, but like I don't want to be shipping you guys a 10-pound bag of grout, and I don't want to like divide it out into small proportions, because then if somebody's child gets into it and swallows it, then we have a problem with the MSDS stuff. So I'm just going to purchase the pre-mixed grout, so you have all that information. If you want to, you know, if you need to, if something happens, hopefully not, but you never know when somebody's kids gets into something, or you're allergic to it, or whatever. Anything like that can always happen. But we'll go over ways to cut cost on the mosaic mushroom. So Lynna asked, what are we talking? We're talking about the mosaic mushroom class that I'm going to offer on September 18th. There's a post in the group, and I've only offered it to you guys. I haven't posted out on the web or or on the classroom group or anything like that. So I'm only actually offering it to you guys. It is the mosaic mushroom class. It's just kind of a special offering for you guys, and so you'll also get the mushroom, the ceramic mushroom, and then I have been pouring extras, so you would even be able to add on extra, and I'll be able to add on extra, and then I don't remember the price right offhand. I think it was $35 for that extra mushroom, but I'm not 100% sure, because we'll be able to ship 2 in a box, I think, without any problem. But you can just go on that post. There's a picture of a mushroom, and it's got kind of information about it, asking if anyone's interested, and then you guys have been commenting about it, so you guys can, like, if you want the kit, the price is there. You can say, I'll take a kit, and then when I actually get to invoicing or whatever, however I'm going to do it, I'll just go down that list and send you the invoice or whatever we end up doing. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. But it will include everything, and then the class fee itself is the $75. And then you'll be able to message me just like you can for these classes. It'll be the same thing. You'll have access to me for help. But we'll go over a bunch of things, and I'll go over where to get some glass from, and the grout from, and all of that. And if you actually want a whole complete second kit, you could do that too. But like I said, I will tell you guys how to like do it cheaper. Like if you think it's something you're going to do, like you can go to the hardware store and buy the sanded grout in a 5 or 10 pound bag, and it'll be a lot cheaper than the little pint of grout. It's just that I don't want to like send powdered grout in a Ziploc bag, and then somebody gets it in their eyes, or somebody's kids or dogs swallow it, and you need to get to the poison center, and then we don't have access to the MSDS stuff. So you have to be careful with repackaging stuff. I know we do it with our glitter and little stuff for our boxes, but it's a fine line with that for legality stuff, I guess you could say. But there are plenty of ways to cut costs. Like you can do stepping stone. Like once you take the class, like you could do a ton of different things. You could go to like the hardware store or the landscaping store and get those 12 by 12 concrete stepping stones, and you can mosaic on those. Like those can be under $5. And then you can go to Hobby Lobby and get your glass, and that can range. Glass has gone up. It used to be like $4 a square foot. Now it's anywhere from $9 to $16 just for the cheapest stuff. So excuse me. But once you have the tool, you know, your mosaic cutter and your basics, you learn how to glue it and grout it. Like, it's super easy, because even like the tube of silicone that you're going to get to glue the stuff down, like if you're going to do several of them, you can go to the hardware store and get like that whole tube that goes in the caulking gun, which there's just like 5 times as much stuff inside there as the little plastic tube that you buy. So if you're going to do more than one thing, like we'll go over all of that in the class. So if you take the class, that's kind of what the class fee is all about, because it's not just doing the one piece and that's it. Like, I'll give you guys lots of tips and FYIs and all that kind of stuff to make it worth the cost. And then I do have other pieces that the ladies mosaic, like the snails and the turtles and what else? Snails, turtles. We have like 3 sizes of snails. I have a bunch of different mushrooms. So I think I'll actually end up making like a album just with like mosaic friendly ceramic pieces. So that after you guys if you take the class and you want to look for pieces that are like mosaic friendly, like they'll be right in there, and you could add it to your bisque box even, so that it's just something worthwhile. So I'm just going back and touching up all my accent green and making sure I can't see the black through it. But I just wanted to give you guys an update that, you know, I'm still working on that. Yep, so you may not have enough glass to do a second mushroom, but you should have close to enough grout, and you'll definitely have enough glue. So it's all going to depend how close you put your glass, and how it really depends on the person that's doing it. So, and the glass I did get from Hobby Lobby, so you could always go and get another sheet from Hobby Lobby. So tried to make it something that was easy access for you guys too. And then I will show you how to cut like straight lines with the glass too. So, and you'll have the mosaic cutters to cut the little pieces, but if you want to cut like straight pieces, you'll have to get a glass cutter. But I will show you how to actually cut the glass too. So you're going to learn a lot in the class. It'll definitely be worth it. Okay, so we have our accent green on, and now we are going to put our bright green. We'll save a lot of that for that class itself. So if you're interested, there is a post. It says Mosaic Mushroom. It's kind of a specialty class just because people ask for it, and I'm just going to offer it to you guys, and we'll take it from there. Alright, so I have our bright green, which is OS464 bright green. And I shook that up good, so I'm going to use my same green brush and just go in there and get my bright green now and kind of work it into my brush. And now we're just going to dry brush a little bit of the bright green on here just to kind of highlight it. And I'll try to tip it so you guys can see. Oh, there's butterflies and dragonflies too. I have butterflies and dragonflies too that you can mosaic. So I'll actually make a mosaic folder. And probably, I don't know if we'll put that in this group or put it in that private event group for the people that take the class. So that they can get additional bisque if you like really like it and want more bisque. Because normally what people use is either a concrete form or a fiberglass form. People really don't use the bisque, our actual ceramic bisque, to do it. That's something I started. But you definitely can. You can even use like the clay, the terracotta clay pots like you get at the nurseries and stuff. You can even do those. It's just a matter of sealing them. So we're just using our accent green on here to now kind of highlight this quite a bit. Kind of get that nice Christmas color on there. Oh, and then one of the ladies showed me today one of the jolly trees that is painted up like a witch. So I was thinking that might make a nice little extra specialty class too. So I'm going to have to actually, I have to hunt down my Jolly Tree molds anyway, because I don't remember where I stuck them, and I do have 2 of them. But I've seen like the Jolly Tree Grinch, like I've painted that. I think that's in the classroom, the creative classroom, or the farmhouse, probably in the farmhouse group. where I painted to look like the Grinch, and that worked really well. But they paint other stuff with that Jolly Tree too, like they'll paint poinsettias on it, and they'll paint, I've seen the bunny, but I've seen like a really cool, she had a really cool witch picture of a Jolly Tree, and so I think I'm going to try to whip one of those up here after we get, probably after next week, because next week's already kind of busy. But for now, we're just putting our bright green on all of our green scarves here. And you could let them dark green if you like them dark green. You like more of that woodsy look. But I kind of wanted to get kind of that Christmassy, brighter green look in it. So we'll get a little more of our bright green. But that Jolly Tree is pretty handy. You can do a lot of stuff with that. And I thought the witch was pretty cool. I think I've seen it painted up as a scarecrow too, actually. So we're just brushing away here. Highlighting our accent green to make it brighter so it looks more Christmassy. And the ornaments are actually a lot brighter than they look on the screen. For some reason they just look really dark on the screen. We'll get our bright green on here, and I'm using a flat brush because I like to be able to turn it on its edge or its side to get into the little areas between the legs and the neck here and under the chin. And I'll probably be taking some pictures of the classroom with our little remodeling or rearranging that we're doing. And actually we started on Saturday, and I thought we were done, and, well, we weren't done, but we were, I thought, done for the weekend, but two of the ladies went back on Sunday without me knowing, and when I got there on Monday, I was completely shocked, because I walked in, and the, what was the gift shop area was all rearranged, and all the bisque was moved, and the cash register was moved into the classroom, and it was just really a nice surprise, and I'm sure I had a shocked look on my face because I couldn't believe it. So that was really nice. So a big thank you to those two ladies for doing that. And one of the hubbies for helping. Because our floor is really crooked out there, and he had to put boards and anchor stuff together. So it wasn't just a quick little easy thing to do. So Denise says she finished the bear ornaments and they turned out cute. Yeah, they are really cute ornaments. I really like them. The ornaments kind of are growing on me because you can use them for different things. Like you could even just put a bow on here, put a magnet on them, and put them in the put them on the refrigerator for magnets, or you could put them on wreaths. Put them on a wreath for decorations on a wreath. They don't actually have to be ornaments. They could be gift tags on gifts. You could put a ribbon and put them on your gift tags. You could maybe put a year on it if you wanted, and so you could use them for different things. They don't have to be just ornaments on a tree. So we are dry brushing away here, getting our bright green built up. If we don't quite finish them this week, we could finish them next week because our the bee house and the bee, and it goes pretty quick. So if we go over this week into next with them for part of the night, that's okay too. So they're looking pretty good though. They'll start to come together here pretty quick. See, I noticed it was like getting dark already at 9 o'clock last night when I was out in the garage. Let's see, I poured some big pumpkins. Oh, we have the Aeropine gnome welcome that Clay Magic came out with like 2 years ago, so I'll probably be posting that big guy in the September album. If you would get it, you'd get I would probably I'll honor the $9.99 shipping on the big stuff. We'll probably like do that occasionally if we have big stuff. I know in November we will have bigger stuff because I have that lava tree coming, the retro tree coming from Mako. And then our November box is a tree also. So I think we'll have the $9.99 shipping special for November, so that if you guys want the that retro tree, maybe I should actually do a post and like start pre-orders on him so I know how many we actually need. I think my molds are in, I just have to pick them up. So it was kind of exciting to see that different tree. And then Clay Magic, I don't know if anyone noticed, they released a couple trees too. The one is that vine tree, and it has a newer number on it, so I don't know if that's their original vine tree and they just gave it a new number, or if they like actually created a new vine tree. But we have the original vine tree. I actually have 2 of those molds, and I've cut bats out of that, and then the moon and stars, and then I've also cut holly leaves out of that vine tree. It's really a cool tree. And then they have another tree it's got like 6 sections to it, I think 5 or 6 sections. That's one of their older trees too. And then you can like stuck baby's breath and ribbon. And then they have tree climbers that fit on it too, like teddy bears and chickadees and ghosts. And we actually have that tree too, and I've never poured it. So I think after I get pumpkins poured, I'm going to get a few pumpkins poured, and then I'm going to dig into the Christmas trees. We have a whole pallet plus of Christmas trees that I haven't even poured yet. Every time we get them, I just put them on there. So we do have Christmas trees, and I think I'm going to have a whole Christmas tree section. So we'll probably work on that for like the November add-ons, different Christmas trees. I think we have, I'm not sure, I gotta look at the teddy bear and the penguin one, but I think it's the Gare one, not the Clay Magic one. But I'll have to look. Like I said, I'm gonna dig all them out because we haven't poured those, and I'm just trying to get everything poured before I croak. So, yep, I did see those attachments for that llamas. That's really cute, and one of them is that vine tree. They made a little vine tree, and I don't know if the big one is like their original one or if they made a new one, because that mold was actually discontinued at one time. You can't get it at all. So I don't know if they like just remade the master and gave it a new number or what. But that's really a handy little tree because I cut different stuff out of it. Like I said, I cut the holly and berries out of it, like holly shapes. And I could post a couple of those too, maybe for our November special. We'll maybe have a tree special in November. With a shipping special, because I have the Tampa Bay tree, I have the Atlantic tree, we have a bunch of trees and a bunch that I haven't even poured yet. So, alright, so we got our accent green on there. Now we're going to give a touch of lime burst. And where's my lime burst? SS376 lime burst. So I've just been trying to get big batches of stuff poured. Like I poured all of our Kinsey rocks and jugs and vases. I got all of our big welcomes poured, except I think I got 2 more to pour, Frankenstein, and then the bear, the cute little bear one, we got that too here, and then the Aeropine one, so we'll be probably add those too. So now we're just going to go with our lime burst and just highlight just a little bit. Let me see, it looks like the moose, I didn't do any, well, just a little bit on him we did, just a little bit on the tips here. Kind of left them all maybe a little bit different. Looks like the one with the plaid I left more with the dark, a little bit darker, so the plaid looked more plaid-ish. We'll just put a little bit on the sleeping guy to like highlight him a little bit. And then let's see, this moose we're gonna leave so he looks more the buffalo plaid. And then this bear, he has a lot on him because he got the snowflakes. So like they're all done differently. You do your pieces different. Like they all don't have the same degree of highlighting on them. So this one I put more of the lime burst on it just to give it just more color to it. That Aeropine welcome, I didn't like it because they put I got too much on there, so I'm going to actually try to wipe it off. Brush my brush out more because I'm talking too much. The Aeropine welcome, I didn't like it because it was a tree on the bottom, and you put the Christmas tree lights on it, and then he's holding a frog and a sign. And like to me, it looked too Christmassy to be gardeny. So I think I'm going to pour him, and well, I have 2 poured, and I didn't put holes in the tree part on the bottom because I don't want him to look Christmassy, tree looky. But I was thinking he might be really cool with like red, white, and blue light bulbs in it, since he's kind of a garden piece. Okay, so now I have this guy a lot lighter than mine, which is okay. You can see he ended up being a lot lighter. So they can all end up different. That's what happens when you're talking. You just keep painting and painting and painting, but they can be different. They don't have to be the same. If you wanted him to be darker, if you got him too light, you could go back and just go back over it with the bright green. It's not a big deal. But we'll have him nice and bright. Okay, so we got that done. This guy we're going to just kind of leave so he's more buffalo check looking. So I think we got those all done. So now we're actually ready to go to our little detail painting of these guys. And I'm just going to use my liner. This is that 20-0 4200. I think this is a L. Yep, this is the long liner. So this one's about 1/8 of an inch. The bristles are about 1/8 of an inch longer than the regular one. And I do have like 2 dozen of all of the liners in stock. So if you ever want liners, you can just message me. So this is the 4200L, so it's a little bit longer. Alright, so let's start with our green on our reds. So this guy's got the little triangles on him, so we'll just start with that. And I'm just going to dip in the water and go into the bright green just to thin it a little bit so it flows off the brush nice and easy, just because it's been sitting there and probably dried out a little bit. And then it's such a little area. So I just painted those. Like I didn't make a big deal of trying to dry brush them just because it's such little detail. So we're just going to paint it. You can kind of see where the triangles are. And you wouldn't have to paint these. You could just outline them like even like that and let them. But I actually filled them in as little triangles. Like there's just a ton of different ways you could do these guys. You could do them with different colors. You could do it with white, whatever you want, whatever you like. Don't ever think you have to paint them just exactly the way I did. Like paint it the way you like it so you're happy. And then whenever I'm painting that little stuff, like I hold it really, really snug. I usually hold it close to me, but to get it on the camera so you guys can see, I'm holding it up in the air kind of, but that ain't the best way to do it. Hold it closer to you. Then you want to rest that painting hand right on this piece. So you have a nice solid, non-shaky area going on, non-shaking piece going on. And then it's better if you're not talking, that you're more steady. But if I wasn't talking, you guys wouldn't know what to do. So we're going to come and do the other little triangle over here. You could put little dots on these guys. There's just a ton of stuff you could do. You could paint little random triangles up inside the scarf if you wanted. It all depends how detail-y you want it to get. And a good liner always works good for that. Possibly that little eyeliner brush that was included in your box earlier this spring. You could maybe even use that. I kind of like this 4200L, the one that with a little bit longer bristles on it, just because it holds a little more paint and you can go a little bit further. Then I just go back and touch it up if I need to, add a little more color so we don't see the red through it. So let's see, that is pretty much all that he gets on his green. Then we have the moose, gets the same, oh, let me see, what did I do here? Oh, that's this moose. Too many ornaments, you guys. So now we got this moose, so we're going to give him some green triangles. And you could even use the lime burst instead of the bright green, like it's whatever you want to do. Trying to see which ones I did here. Must be this one. And it don't matter, like whatever you want to do. But like again, I'm holding him really steady, resting that painting hand right on my piece. Hold it closer to you, that will actually make you steadier. It seems like there's a lot of detail on these guys, but there really isn't that much. And I think this one I added the snowflakes too, just to give it a little more something different. he's got just a little half triangle here on the end, so you want to get that so it looks like your pattern keeps going. We're just doing our little triangles. And if you got to go back and touch up with the red, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, don't get upset about it. Just go back and touch it up. Okay, so we have that done. We can go back and touch that up where I can see through. Alright, so we got our green done on that one. Let's see, that's that one. And let's see, this guy's got, we got lots of stuff going on here, you guys. Okay, so where's this red guy? Alright, so now we got to do this guy yet, the way it looks. Nope, his scarf is going up. He gets plaid. Oh, let's see. This guy gets plaid. Try to get, gotta get him matched back up, sorry. That's this guy. That's this guy. That's this guy. And then that's this guy. So this guy, he did end up more green, but that's okay. It's not gonna hurt. So he's done. He's got his green on. He needs red. And these two just need their black checkered. So that's how you do the triangles. So I just washed, excuse me, washed my brush out. Now we can go and put the red triangles on him. And we'll get some more real red. And let's see if we got any comments going on. Let's see. Denise likes the bright green. Alright, so you can add a little drop of water to that if you want, but I just added it out of the bottle so it's fresh, it's not dried up. So we're just going to get these triangles on here. I kind of got a lot of the paint in the brush, so we'll go to the next one and then come back to that one so we don't have a glob. When I was in Hobby Lobby, I see they have lots of retro colors that really kind of a minty green with the really pale pink and the peach. And then they had some ET stuff. Alright, so we got him. Oh, and then this guy I did give little red fringes on too. So those were just like little V's. I touch down and pull, touch down and pull to give him little fringes. So I just touch down and pull. And we just gave him little fringes over here. And they don't got to be all exactly the same because you kind of want it to look like random fringes. Then we'll add a couple in between. So there he's got his fringes. Alright, he's good. He needs stuff here too. Let's see, this guy needs red. Let's go back to our red and get our red triangles on him. You could do gold or silver. Just whatever your imagination tells you to do. Like even if you had another set, like you could make them all different colors and they would match, but yet they'd all be different. So we're just doing our red triangles with our real red. Now it's such a little area, I didn't do the rust first, and we do have the green underneath there, so it's not like we're going right from black to red. We have an in-between shade of color, so it actually works okay. Alright, so we got that on there. And let's see, he doesn't have any fringes, so he's good. This one has the green fringes that I missed, so let's go back and give him some green fringes. And that's just a matter of doing that same little V stuff. And you wouldn't have to do V's, you can just do straight lines, whatever works for you. I kind of like the V's because it kind of makes it look like the little fringes are going every little direction. And then I come back and put a couple here and there that are straight. Okay, so we got that. Alright, then we have our white. So we have our white OS 431. Give that a good shake. And we'll get us a nice little pile of white. And now we're making little snowflakes, so we want this kind of thin, so I'm going to go in my water and kind of add a couple drops of water to that white so we can thin it out like ink, so it's going to flow better off our brush. And just kind of mix it, just so it's thinner than what it is in the bottle. So you can see it's thinner now. And then I just pull my brush through it, turn it and lift, and then that kind of loads that nice long liner up. All right. Now we're going to do our snowflakes. Let's see if we got any questions going on. Alright, so we'll move them guys out of the way. So to do snowflakes, I usually do like a plus sign. So I did like 2 kitty corner from each other, so we'll do a plus sign. And I kind of hold my brush almost straight up and down to get that nice fine line. So we'll do a plus. We'll go straight up and down, and then we go across. And by adding that little bit of water, like that just flows really nice off the brush. And now we'll put another plus sign in between, like an X. So now we're going to do the X in there. So it's like a plus sign and an X to make your snowflakes. And then I will do another one up here, and I actually kind of like to, you can turn your piece so that they look like they're falling in different directions. So I don't want it like right next to it, so I'm just going to come over here a little bit. And we don't have a whole lot of room, so we have to make them kind of small. So there's kind of our plus sign. And now we'll actually make that one a little bit longer right there. And then now we'll put our X in the other way. So that's how simple a snowflake is. Just make a plus sign and then make an X. So hopefully that makes sense. So now we got those 2 up there, and they're like not right across from each other. One's up a little bit, just so it looks kind of, you know, like it's a nice print. So we have this nice big area here, so that's kind of where I picked to put my first one. Again, I kind of got that brush straight up and down. That gives me that nice fine line, or it helps to it. Draw straight down. Here's our plus. See how we got our plus sign? And now we're going to just put the X in between it. And if one's a little shorter and one's a little longer, that's okay. We'll be able to fix that when we add our dots. We can kind of equal out our dots. And then I'm going to, so I have one over here, so now I don't want one like right underneath that one. I'm going to kind of put it in between those 2. And like part of the snowflake can be like on the back side, so you may not see all of it. So like when you look at like when you're wearing a shirt or something and you got your sleeve, like part of the pattern can be like tucked underneath behind. So we have just like a little short on the top, but we have the rest of it on the bottom. So you don't have to have like you don't need a full snowflake there, because like this scarf is covering up part of that snowflake. Just imagine that that's covering part of that up. So now we have enough room. We can try to get one in here on his little front part. So again, there's our plus. And now we'll do our X. I can make that one a little longer. Alright. Then I put down in this little crevice here, I kind of turned it upside down and just did like the bottom half of our snowflake. So we'll just do our bottom of our plus. And it's getting a little thick, so we're going to get a little water. Thin that out a little bit. So we'll do like the bottom half of the plus, and then we'll do like the bottom half of the X. So now we have just part of a snowflake there, because the rest of it is tucked underneath his little scarf. So that just makes it look more natural, and not like they're lined up like little soldiers, I guess you could say. So now we have a nice big area over here, so we can probably get a full one in over here. We do our plus, do our X in between. So see, like even though this area is small, if we wouldn't put anything there, it would look kind of like it was missing something, because there's nothing there, like it's not scattered enough. So that's those guys, and now we need to go to our green guy, and we'll do the same thing. So let me see, I put one here and one here. Kind of got to turn him around and get him upside down. So we'll do our plus. And then kind of do an X, or now it looks like a plus just because of the way it's turned, but it's basically a plus and an X. And then I tried to get a little one up here, and you kind of just imagine that part of it's tucked underneath that scarf, so we just won't put dots on all of it because part of it's tucked under there. And then I'm actually coming up over the fold of the scarf to kind of extend that little one. And then we can get another one as our other part of our X right there. So these aren't perfect little snowflakes just because it's such a little area. Alrighty, then I did just a part of one down in this corner. So I just did like 3 little, like, it's like 1/4 of the snowflake right there. I think I'm going to get a little water so it gets a little bit thinner, just because it's just such a little area. So I got a full one here, so we'll do our plus. So there's our plus, and then here's our X. And then I just kind of zigzagged over and put one over here. Again, a plus. And if that one's a little heavier like that, that's okay too. Like, it's really hard to get them all exactly the same when they're so little like that. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. We got to get one more up here. And then you have your ripples, so you kind of want to follow those ripples because the snowflake would follow. If it was printed in the fabric, it would be following those ripples. So there we got those. And then on the front, I just kind of one up, one down, one up, one down. So you could just do 3. You could put 1 here, 1 there, but I did 5 of them the way it looks. So we'll put 1 over here, kind of up higher. You could just put dot. Oh, it got really dark with him, so that I wouldn't try to get it that dark, but he's on there now, so he ain't going away. And then we'll put 1 down with our plus sign. So they're just little plus signs. And I'm actually going to wash my brush out. So sometimes you have to wash your brush out and kind of start back over with loading it up because it just gets dried up with paint and there's too much paint in it. And now we can put another one up. Do our little plus sign. See how much nicer that my plus signs and X's are now that I washed out the brush, because it was just getting too much paint built up in it and then kind of getting dry. So just wash your brush out when you're having trouble. Alright, so we got our stuff on there. This guy we're just gonna have to let because he's on there now. Alright, so I think that's it for our white. And then I washed it out again, and now I'm just going to go in there, load it up, and I'm going to go back to the first one. And I put a dot, just using the tip of the brush, because the ball stylus, you could use a pin, I suppose. So now, like, this one is really short, but that one's really long. So where the short one is, I'm going to go out right to the end of it and add my little dot. This one's a little short, so I'll go all the way out to the end and add the dot. We'll get some paint. So now this one is kind of long, so I'll actually put my dot on top of the end of that one and cover part of that up. So that actually kind of shortens that one up. So now it kind of matches the other ones now. This one's a tad bit long, so I'll cover just a little bit of that one up. Same with that one. This one's a little bit short, so I'll go all the way out to the end. This one's just about right, so I'll go right on the tip of it. And the same with that. So that's how I do my snowflakes. So you can kind of adjust, even though your lines may not be perfect, you can adjust the length of those. So like this one here is kind of short, so I'm going to come to where it should be. So I'm in the red, but it's right at the end of the white, so that just makes that look like it's coming out. Now this one here is longer, so I'm going to come in onto the white, and that's going to kind of shorten it up. And then this one I can put where it needs to be. So we got that nice roundness there. That one's just at the end of the red, or the end of the white. He's at a good spot right there. This one could come down to the very tip of it. This one's right on the tip of the white, and so is this one. If you wanted, you could put little dots in the center of those too. But that's how you do your dots. So either cover up part of the white or go into at the very tip of the white, and you can adjust how your that your lines are, so they don't have to be exactly perfect. So this one here, he's a little bit short, so I'm going to go right at the very tip of it onto the red. So that actually makes him a little bit longer. Now this one's a little bit long, so I'm actually going to go onto the white, the tip of the white, so that like brings it shorter. This one will go right onto the white. So this next one is probably just about perfect. Go right on the red and the white, right where it meets. This one's a little bit short. We'll go on to the tip of the white. He's a little bit long, so we're going to go on to the tip, right onto the white. This one's about right, so we'll go on to there, and then right there. So you can adjust those snowflakes. Oh, they're making you cold. Well, we need some cold because it's darn hot and humid here. Alright, so now we got this little guy, so I just start with one, and this one's a little short, so I go out a little bit further. So you just kind of adjust your dots so that they look kind of rounded. So now those, I'm not actually going to put any dots on them, because that's covering up by his chin. So it just makes it look like it's, like that's how the fabric is folded. We could put one right there, but the other two look like they should be more underneath his chin, so we'll just let them. Then we got the tips of these three, so we'll just do these three, because that's all we can see of that snowflake. But we still wanted to have that white color there, so it didn't look blank. Okay, so now this guy here on top, he's kind of short, so I'm going to go where the red is at the tip of the white, just to extend it a little bit. This one's a little bit long, so I'm going to go onto the white. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And this one will go, it's kind of right where it needs to be, so we'll just go right at where the red and the white are. These look pretty good. So you just kind of round them out. Try to squeeze one in there. And then that one actually looks like it's underneath his chin, so we'll let that one, this one looks a little small, so we'll just make them a little bit bigger. So that's how you do your snowflakes. And now we'll do our green ones quick. So Denise is going, okay, have a great weekend too. So I'm going to wash my brush out just because it gets too much paint in it. And we're just going to do the same thing with these little guys. I kind of like to start at the top and work my way down. If I start at the bottom and work up, I end up getting my finger in the white paint. So I kind of start at the top and work down. So we'll just add our dots quick here. And I just work my way around each one, making it, if it needs to go out a little or bring it in a little, and just kind of adjust it. Like that one needed to come out a little. And if it's folded like underneath the fabric, then you don't do the dots. So here we're kind of folded under the fabric, so I won't do those two. And that just makes it look more natural. So just adding our white dots. So looks like we'll probably have to finish these guys up next week, but I didn't want to rush. Like I wanted to show you guys how to do the snowflakes really good. Well, that one's kind of heavy, so we'll just like heavy these other ones up a little bit so it kind of matches. And then we got just the little partial snowflake here in the corner. And we got this heavy one, so we'll try not to get too heavy with our dots, but we kind of got to make it match too. And those are kind of like up under his chin, so we'll let those. Now this one here, he's kind of short, so we'll go at the top of the white into the green. So see, that just made that one longer so that it like they all match then. And this one's a little long, so we're going to go right onto the white. And you can do that with whatever size these snowflakes you want. Like say you have that big bundle up snowman, like you could make big X's and pluses and put dots on them to make big snowflakes. It's just a way to make snowflakes. But look, it gives the scarves a lot of character having them extra little snowflakes on there, I guess. It's better than just a plain green one. And then like if you wanted, you could put snowflake or the dots in the center. I can show you. Just put that little dot in the center, and that gives it a whole nother look to it. And it's just a little dot in the center of each snowflake. And I actually like that. That's usually what I do. So now he's even different than the other one. Alright, so we got him. He's done. He's done. He's done. We can go to our plaid. Let's do our plaid. So if you guys want to work on the plaid, because then all we have left is touching up the hooves and doing the eyes and the glitter and stuff in the background. Alrighty, so for the buffalo plaid, we're going to go with our black OS 476. Shake her up. And it's plugged. Alright, so I'm going to want this pretty thin, so I'm going to dip in my water a couple times. So I'm just getting that drop of water in there. Hopefully you can see that's a lot thinner than just paint straight out of the... so you can see there's a drop of water on there. I just dropped that in there. So there's like 4 drops in that little pile. So it's a lot thinner now. And that's what you need to get that to flow off of that brush. Alright. And then you want to make sure you don't have a drop of water on the end of your brush. So I usually touch that onto the paper towel. And now we can load it up with our paint. And I just take it, kind of roll it through there and pull it and lift it. And that gets a nice point on there. So now we have buffalo plaid. We'll show you the red here because it's easier. So I usually start with the long ones, and you don't want to put just a straight line. You want to go with the curve of your fabric. So like this scarf is going up, so they got a curve to it. If it was going down, we'd have a down curve, and it's like wrapped around his neck. So we want to have that curve. Like we don't want to have just a straight line because it won't look natural then. Alrighty, so let's go with our red. Load up that brush. And let me see, I did three lines on there, so I'm gonna you can turn it whichever way you want. And I'm gonna put one through the middle and then one on the top and the bottom. And I just kind of touch down. And you can see it's thin, so it like rolls right off the brush, and you can go back and make it wider if you want. Kind of got up kind of high there. Maybe this will have to be our first one. The biggest thing with the plaid is that you go with the shape of your fabric, or the shape of your whatever it is that you're making plaid, and not just a completely straight, vertical, and horizontal. So I'm just making this a little wider because I want them to look more like a buffalo check. But see how it's rounded now, and it's not just horizontal. So it's rounded just like the scarf is on his neck. Alright, so I think we're probably only going to be able to do 2 because I didn't have that one in the right spot. So now we'll let about that much red and come down and do another black one. And again, I'm just following the shape of that scarf. And so like I can't keep, like, there's not enough scarf here, so we're actually gonna, like, it'll start and stop like right there, just where it kind of like runs out out of space, so it's just like curved underneath there. And that's same thing over here. Like I didn't go all the way up. I just started where it was wide enough to start with the black. Whoop. So there we have our nice little, not quite straight. And you can go back and widen it out here and there, and just to make it look better. Okay, so we have that. So you can see that's got a nice curve to it, like just like our scarf does. So now we have our scarf coming up here. And so we'll do, looks like I did 2, 3 on there too. So I have one right on the edge of the scarf, so we'll follow the scarf right along the edge here. Oh, forgot to do his triangles on him. Oh, I just outlined him with the black. Okay, so we'll do that quick. So this guy, I just outlined his triangles a little bit with the black. And then I drew across, painted a straight line across. Okay, and we can do that. So now we have our first line. It kind of followed the scarf here. I need it a little bit wider down here. And now we'll put one in the middle. So we'll give it like the same width of the black for the red. And bring it right to that line. So now we don't have enough room it's not enough room between the black and the red in the ear. So we're actually going to like make believe it's underneath the ear, and it would probably like start up right here. So you kind of have to think about like if you were wearing something and what it would look like when you were if you had it on. So like that black line is going to go underneath his ear, but it's still there on the scarf. It's just that it's hid. So now we have that one done. And let's see, we'll put a couple, I think I got 2 on this one. So we'll do our triangles on here, just outline them quick. Now I don't want to put a black line like right next to that one. I'll probably start on my outside one first. And we'll follow the scarf. And then stop right where my V's are. So I'm actually going to turn it. So now this top of the scarf is covering up part of the bottom scarf. So really I'm going to like imagine that line went right underneath it there, and it would probably start about right here and then come to the edge, or to the V's. So now that's just a little short line because it's hid underneath that scarf. So you just want to think about how it would look if you were wearing it, if someone was wearing it. All right, so now we got to do our other lines. So now I like to put a little bit of curve to those vertical lines, so it doesn't look like they're not just straight lines, because like the scarf is probably kind of puffy, so we want to have that kind of a puffy look, like it's rounded. So I'm just going to start. You can start off center or right in the center, and we're just going to start at the top and just give it just a little bit of a curve to it, and then we're going to come right round down to the bottom here. So you can see there's just a little curve. It's not a straight stripe. So now we'll let about the same width of red come underneath his chin here, and then give our little curve again. And it's not much of a curve, but it's enough that it makes that scarf look like it's nice and big and fluffy and warm around his neck, I guess. And so you kind of got to flip your ornament around just to be able to get from one, to get that sharp line on each beginning side, the top and the bottom. So now we'll let our red space and come with our black again. So our little black line is getting shorter because his little scarf is getting, like it's not as wide. Because it's kind of curled under, but we want our black line to go right to the edge of it at the top and the bottom. Hopefully I'm in the screen. I keep bringing it closer and closer to me here. And then there's probably going to be one more right here, just part of one. And now we'll come back to our other side, and I'll just like keep that little curve going. And you just come right. I like to start at the edge and pull it to the center, whether it be the top down or the bottom up. Hopefully that makes sense. That way you can get like a nicer square on the end of your stripes. So we start at the top, kind of bring it down, and then I like to turn it and go from the edge up and kind of join those two up. Or you can go from the bottom up. It doesn't matter. Do it how it works for you. That's just kind of how it works for me. And then we'll get one more in there. And now we'll do our little crosses, or our little, these aren't really vertical, they're kind of at an angle, just because his little scarf is up in the air. So we have the black here. So now we'll have our wider black here. And we just keep working our way down the little scarf, and our lines can get shorter or longer depending upon the scarf. And then this one I did, so this one's kind of curving up and this one's curving more out. So these I just kind of bring kind of straight down almost. That way you can see that there's two little scarf tails there. So that's all there is to do in your little buffalo plaid. And then I took little black lines and gave him a bunch of little black V's on the end of his little thing here, so it looks like he's got fringes. And then I added some straight ones in too. I kind of start with the V's and then add the straight ones in. So that's how your buffalo plaid is done. And then for the eyes, I'll just do one set of eyes because we're getting kind of late here. I just painted them in with the black. So if someone wants to finish theirs before next week, just paint them with the black. And you can see the little line in there, so you just kind of fill it in. And then I gave, let me see, it looks like I gave the bears a little black nose. And then if you don't have a nice little black line here, I just kind of run a little black line there. So I did that to all of the eyes. And it looks like we're probably at a little good, oh, and then they get a white dot in there too. So for the dot, I just did a little tiny white dot like at 1 o'clock on the eyes. But we'll finish them next week together. That way we can go over the rest of the little decorating. And so they just get one little dot at either 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock. They're so tiny I didn't add any other little fanciness to the eyes. So we'll just give this at 1 o'clock. Just kind of make them so that they're the same size, so they look like they're looking. So that's it kind of for the little bears. Like I'd come back now, I have like some red on his little cheeks. I'd come back with my dark brown. You want to come back and touch things up. So if someone wants to get done by next week. And I'll actually take my little liner and thin that brown out a little bit. And you can kind of just lay a light layer of it over wherever the red is on your little bear. Or the rust. And then you can go back and touch it up with a little bit of light brown. So you do want to go back and touch things up if you need to. Like here I have red on the little sticks, so we'll touch those up. And I just do it with a kind of little thin down black brown, and that just takes that red hue away from the brown, so it doesn't look like it's slopped down there all over. So here I have a whole bunch of rust on the rust and red, so we'll just touch that up, and then we can come back and touch that up with the medium brown too. So you want to touch your little pieces up if you need to, like around the little ears here. And then I'll come back and do the medium brown on it too. So that's kind of your little guy looking pretty good there. So I think we actually got till 8:30 already. So we'll finish these guys up next week. They won't take the whole night, but then we'll open up your box that we're shipping, and that it'll go pretty quick. We might even end up with an extra class at the end. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. So let's see. So everyone says have a great weekend. They like the snowflakes. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the snowflakes. That was a little they're really easy. It's like you just make, I could show you a big one. So you just want to make a plus. Like you can make these things any sizes. So you just make a plus. You kind of want to have that nice triangle there. But I'll do one that's a little longer, and then that one's a little shorter. I'll show you how to fix it then. And then so that's your plus sign, and now do a X in between it. We'll see how you got the plus and the X. Okay. Then this one we can make shorter. So we'll actually use our little dowel here to make our dots. So this one looks too short compared to this one. So this one I'm going to come up to the top. So I'm actually going to put it in the white part of my paper, not on the black part of the snowflake. So I'm just going to go straight down. So that just made that snowflake that much longer. Now this one is kind of long, so I'm not going to put it in the white. I'm actually going to put it on the black. So now that shortened that one up, so they're more comparable. Same with this guy. He's kind of long, so I'm going to put it right on the black. This one may be a little short, so we'll go on the white, like like into the white space. This one's kind of perfect, so we'll put it right on the black and the white, kind of halfway. This guy may be a little bit short, so we'll go into the white. He's a little bit long, so we'll go on to the black. He's a little long, so we'll go on to the black. So now he actually looks like fairly even. And then I like to put a little dot in the center. And then like you can get fancy with these. You can put another little dot, say on every other one. So now we have another kind of a snowflake. You could add another little dot out here. So you can make tons of little different kinds of snowflakes by doing that plus and that X. So now we have another little fancy snowflake. You could come and put an even smaller one out here, maybe on every other one. And now you have another type of snowflake. So like you could just do tons of snowflakes just by doing that plus and that X, and then adding different dots wherever you wanted. You could come back and put dots on all of them. That's kind of my little snowflake designing, how I design different snowflakes. But you can see you can do tons of snowflakes with that little guy. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that snowflake making and the plaids. So your boxes are being shipped. Some went out, quite a few went out today. Oh, that was just my, that was the end of my ball stylus, actually, to make the bigger so you guys could see. But you can use the ball stylus on smaller ones. You can get these ball styluses, if you get those mandala painting kits like off of Amazon, they're like $9.99. They'll have like 6 different size ball styluses in there, and maybe some little different stencils. But you can use anything. You can use the end of your brush. Your drying rack, you got the dowel, you could use the end of that. For little ones, you can use the little ends of your brush if you don't have the ball styluses. You could use your pencil erasers to do whatever size dots you want. Like it's pretty endless. So it all depends how big you want them. Like these brushes with the angles, those don't work because they're more for mixing your paint. But in any of the brushes with the blunt ends on, you can use for making your dots. But this was just a ball stylus. But those mandala painting kits, they have huge like silver balls in those. Those were good for making the dots too. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the class. Your Hive Sweet Hive box is on its way, or some will go out tomorrow, and then some will go out again Monday. And then I will get the mosaic mushroom stuff posted. And if you want that kit, you can just put that you want the kit on there. I'll get the colors posted, the glass options, and if anybody has questions, you can let me know about that. Probably have pictures of molds, new molds coming in that'll be coming. I don't think they'll get here till about Wednesday. But there's just different stuff going on. Maybe some pictures from the classroom if we get that straightened up more, and stuff that I'm pouring out in the garage. I poured 3 different sized pumpkins. I think you guys will be able to add to the your box too once September gets here. So it's kind of pumpkin time. So otherwise, have a great week, and thank you guys for joining me and for getting the box. I appreciate every one of you. So stay cool and enjoy the last of our summer here, because for Wisconsin, we're kind of on the wind down of the last month of summer. School starts in less than a month for the kids. So have a great night, you guys, and thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.